All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Chain Gang Team Blitz for the end of August. It's August 28th, and whenever we get to the end of the month, there are really two things in the forefront of our minds. One is finishing the month strong and really maximizing the last few days of the month. We're so lucky that we have this sale that was announced today for Labor Day, and we have our September Trunk Show exclusives that have been released early. So there are so many exciting things to be reaching out about. And we're also working on that team challenge together of the viral posting about our tops, which I know I borrowed that idea from another sell-in leader, and it has been really effective for them to just generate interest about their business and build brand awareness. So we'll get into that a little bit more in a second, but I'm really excited to share with you something that I learned about today that we're going to be talking about a lot. And it really ties hand in hand with the simple business plan, but it's kind of that step before, and it's called the 10-10-10. And I know you may be thinking like, oh my goodness, another acronym, another like number system, but this is really, really simple. And I really think it has the potential to be a huge game changer for our businesses. The point of it, it's all about building your network before you even talk to them about Stella and Dot at all. So has anybody, you can like raise your hand, or if you want to unmute and chime in, have you felt like, and for those of you who are new, you know, you might not be feeling this way. Maybe you are already feeling this way, feeling like one of two things. One, that you don't know who to reach out to next. Like you're like, okay, I've got my friends, I've got my family, but like, how do I get to that next circle? Or feeling like, oh, I don't want to bother the people that I already know. I don't want to just be bugging them about Stella and Dot all the time. So has anyone felt that either of those two ways, or maybe even both at any point of time? Me too. And I think that this is a great way to really kind of like standardize building our network in a way that's really easy to understand, and it's really duplicatable. So as you sponsor people, this is something that you can really teach someone else how to do, which is what I love about it. Because it's one thing as a leader to say, well, go out and meet more people or get into some new networks, but it's not specific enough to necessarily be able to have someone to be able to replicate it. So the 10-10-10 is really simple, and it's basically just 3 steps. And you're going to start with a piece of paper. It's almost like similar to making that who do you know list, and you're going to make 3 columns. And this is something that you want to start doing by habit, maybe making this a weekly activity. So this might be, you know, on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening as you're planning out your week and looking ahead to your schedule, you make these 3 columns, and it's all around where do I go, who do I see, and what do I know? So those are the 3 questions that you want to remember. So you start with that first column, you make 3 columns, and then for each column, you're writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 numbers in each column. In the where do I go column, you just want to look ahead to your week and see where you're going to go. Like, are you going to work? Are you going to the school pickup line? Are you going to a workout class? Do you go to a certain coffee shop all the time? Do you go to, do you always like walk around the block in the same way? Do any of those things. So it can be absolutely anything, any time that you're really getting outside of your house and meeting and being out and about. So create that list of 10. And then the second column is who do I see? So starting with that first column of where you're going, make a list in the second column of a person that you're going to see in each place. So for example, it could be, okay, every time that I'm sitting at my daughter's soccer practice, there's that girl with the brown hair. I don't really know her, but I know that I always see her. So you can literally write like the girl with the brown hair. And then maybe it's, okay, at the dentist office, you know, it's always the same receptionist every single time you've been there. So write down all of those people. Maybe you know their names, maybe you don't. That's really not the point. It's just that 10 places, people that you're going to see in each place. And then that third column, what do I know? So what your goal is for the week is to find out one new thing about each of these people. And I love this. This isn't really even about talking to them about Stella and Dot at all. It's just about getting outside of your house, getting outside of your current network, meeting new people, and starting conversations with them. And I think it's really eye-opening because I think we're going to each find that as we work on this and make it into a new habit, we're going to find a couple of different things. The first aha might be like, oh my gosh, I'm just not getting outside of my house enough, or I'm not getting outside of my 3 places that I go. You know, maybe you go to your full-time job and then you go home, and like maybe you like sometimes go to one coffee shop. So how can you think of some new places that you could just get out and about? And you might, maybe the second thing is if you do go to a lot of different places, maybe you're just not really talking to people while you're there. And you don't even have to talk to them about Stella and Dot, but having that goal of learning something new about other people is really going to be a game changer. I'm so excited about this because here's what's going to happen. As you intentionally meet new people and start new conversations, your business is going to come up naturally. And I think that if we get into this new habit, we're going to find that all of a sudden our who do you know lists are way bigger. Our conversations about our business are happening more organically and more frequently. And I think it's going to be really amazing for growth. So we're definitely going to keep talking about this more, but I wanted to introduce this to all of you tonight, and then we can just keep having a conversation about it more. So what is that again? That's the 10-10-10. It's your system to building your network. It's all about where do I go, who do I see, and what do I know? What do you guys think about that? I'll unmute everybody.
I love that. Can you hear
me? Yeah,
me?
you like it? Yes, I can hear you. Here, I'll unmute everybody. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great.
I thought I've like never heard of something so specifically like made into a system like this, and I just think it's awesome.
What did you say the last column was?
The last column is what do I know? So that's where you're kind of making it your goal for the week to fill that column up with just learning new things about people.
Okay, thank you.
I feel like
you're welcome.
I like this a lot because just from doing, so for those of you that don't know, for the most part, I do a pop-up at Pottery Barn once a month, and I have for the last 2 years. And I feel like I've learned this a lot through just meeting new people in that way of like knowing stuff about their life, like gives you more insight into it. And like Jamie, I only started talking to Melissa about Stella and Dot once we became friends on Facebook, and then I was like, oh, I know what's going on in her life. Like not that everyone you meet on this list is going to be like a stylist on your team one day, but it just, I think, gives you point of reference too, like someone that does, like I've met a girl at Pottery Barn that does charities all the time, and that's just from like, I would never know that. So she's not a hostess or a stylist, but she's a great connector.
Oh, okay.
So I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it holds so much potential, like, because it's not even just only focusing on women. Like, again, with the connector idea, Jess, like you're saying, like if you, for example, if you go to the same coffee shop all the time and it's always like the same guy working there, that could be totally somebody who could connect you. Like maybe he has a really fashionable girlfriend. Like you don't know who someone could connect you to. So I absolutely love it. And I think it just parlays right into the simple business plan, because as you're having these conversations every week, again, your business is going to come up naturally in the flow of conversation. Because, right, when you have conversations with people, a lot of times one of those first questions is like, what do you do? Right? And then people are going to reciprocate the questions, or they're going to notice what you're wearing. So you can have those natural conversations and then really be able to focus on that simple business plan goal of 20 new customers a month. So, of course, the easiest way to do that is with 2 in-home trunk shows where you really hostess coach to get 10 guests there, and then signing up half of your new customers for Style Club, making sure at least half of them redeem their credits. And then that's that simple business plan that helps you build momentum going forward. But really that focus on the new layers in perfectly with this 10-10-10 idea. So on that same note, I really have loved what we're already starting to do this week, and we'll of course keep this going all week long with just building brand awareness for two things: ourselves as stylists and Stella and apparel being a thing that exists, with this back to school viral posting idea. And I think this is a cool way that we're supporting each other, because the way that Facebook works, if you're not familiar, is that when you post something, the more quickly that people are liking it and commenting on it, and the more likes and comments it gets, the more Facebook like pushes it out into the feeds of other people. So it's great, of course, to have your VIP group where you can be posting about Stella and Dot all the time. But if you start to sort of like get afraid to post on your public page, people might not even know that you're a stylist. And so it's just a good reminder, like every so often, to be adding something onto your personal page, so that if someone's not in your VIP group, that doesn't mean that they're not interested in Stella and Dot. So you want to make sure that you're keeping it on people's radars all the time, that this is something that you do. And I love this way to do it, because it's really coming from a place of service, of helping people avoid the mall and get a cute top. And then of course, it's easier for people at times. I think everybody wears clothes, right? Maybe people aren't exactly into statement necklaces, or they're like, oh, I don't really need a new pair of earrings. But like really at this time of year, people are refreshing their wardrobes. So I love highlighting the tops. And then still so many people, if they are familiar with Stella and Dot, they have no idea that we even carry tops. So I love this. So let's keep that going for sure. And I'm going to turn this over to Jess to share some ideas about blitzing. But if you've already been putting up some posts about the tops, make sure that when you start to listen to Jess's tips, include the people that are liking and commenting on your posts as people that you can reach out to. That's a great way to also layer into building your network of who you're reaching out to about Stella and Dot. All right, Jess, take it away.
Yay! So I don't have any crazy, crazy top tips. My first one is funny because it was make sure that there are new people on your who do you know list. So maybe that 10-10-10 can already help you get there. But I remember when I first really started blitzing and trying to book up shows, I felt like I was reaching out to like the same group of people all the time. So once I really started to kind of push myself and think outside the box, it took a lot of scrolling through my phone and Facebook, but adding new people to your list. And pop-up shops are a great way to do that. Piggybacking off of that, like if someone does give you like a no or a not now, a great tip that also ties into what Charlotte was saying with the 10-10-10 was that there are 4 types of people for us. There are customers, hostesses, stylists, and connectors. So all of your no's are connectors, and like a graceful way to like accept a no is to just be like, thanks so much for letting me know. Like, I hope you keep me in mind in the future. And if you know anyone who loves style and would love doing what I do or free shopping spree, like, you know them best, so you can kind of like judge what to say there. But to just kind of turn that into like, that's a great way to support me. And even like with some of my best friends for a while, that's how they did support me, is through like connecting me to other people. That was my little tangent thoughts for a minute. My second thing was to actually track it. And I'm still perfecting my system. I just pulled some stuff out. I know Charlotte does something that I've been meaning to do for a while, but it's just hard. I just need to do it. But I don't have a working laptop, so it makes it more difficult. But this is kind of what I do. I created, how do I flip this? This is like my tracker. This was when I like used my wonky school printer that put a line in it, but I put 20 per page. I think there's one in Stellaverse that's like 40 a page. You could literally do lined notebook paper. And I think I've showed this off a couple times. When I put someone's name, I put the date when I like text them. I kind of write a message like, was it Facebook message? Was it like Instagram message? Or mainly mine's texting. And then there's 4 spots to follow up with, which is kind of my second thing of following up. But tracking it just so it's so helpful. My kid's grabbing my arm. I know. That's a blank one for the new. But like as I can go back, I can see like, oh, I think I just reached out to Mary Lee. And then I realized like, okay, that was like 3 months ago. It's okay now to like touch back. Or like if I keep thinking of Mary Lee and I'm like, I just think she would love this. I'm like, well, you actually reached out to her 2 weeks ago, so you're kind of stalking her and you need to stop. Especially like my phone, I have it set to delete messages after a month. So sometimes it is hard for me to remember, like, did I message her a month and a day ago or whatever. So tracking it's very helpful. Another reason to do that is that you can kind of see I somewhat color coded it. The oranges are not nows. Purples are they booked a show, and pink is no, because I think that's fun. So it kind of makes the no's be fun. But the oranges are great because I'll write down like not now, and then I kind of put that on a list. Like that orange there said October. So I told her like, okay, great. I will touch back with you at the end of September. And she was like, all right, thanks. And then my last tip, this is like the biggest thing. You have to follow up. And it's my biggest thing, like meaning like I struggle with it the most, I think. Just to be consistently following up, because we're going to hop off or just kind of be quiet and start blitzing. And that's great. I find it so easy for those first like 10, like, oh, I'm going to reach out to like 30 girls today and text them or whatever, or do that. But then we don't hear anything, we get ignored, or we get like the one no or whatever. But like most of my yeses come from the second to fourth touches. Like very, very rarely do they get back to me on the first one. And it's just how, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever you want to look at it, how we operate today. I feel like we look at text messages at red lights and like we see it, and I never respond to Charlotte. I'm so sorry, Charlotte, but like she'll be like, tell me, da, 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 and then she like probably sees that I do it on Facebook or whatever.
I'm like, okay, so answer me now.
Yeah, and clearly I have like my hands full. But yeah, so that's how people are. So I think as long as you're like wording it like kind of like casually, it's not creepy to respond back multiple times. My second touch I was doing, so if you don't know like the 10-4 tracker, it's one touch like within 48 hours, which I can never do. I always feel like it's a little bit later, but within 48 hours, just be like, hey, just want to make sure you got my message. Like, I'd love to hear what you think. To just kind of like touch back as like a reminder. And then the third touch, here, I'll flip it again because it tells me up here. So the first touch is the warm up. The second touch is, she told me no, but she didn't respond to my first one, was 48 hours after, which I normally do. I was doing a voice text, but then I was realizing voice texts disappear after like 24 hours, whether or not they've even listened. So for me, it was like, I don't know what they, like, I don't know. So I've started calling. And leaving a voice message. And then it's really surprising. I think people don't get calls from numbers, so they pick up. And it has kind of surprised me more, but it's always a good conversation. And, no matter what it is, I think it's normal to kind of hear your voice and remember that you're like a cool person on the other end of the line. And then touch 3 is like 7 days after, I believe, the first one. So if you reach out today on Tuesday, you touch back with them Thursday, you touch back again on Tuesday, and then you close the loop. So this one would be like, I usually do something about my VIP group here, like, hey girl, like saw this shirt, or I just posted something I think you'd love, like, do you want to be a part of it if they're not already a part of it, or whatever. And then that fourth touch is like, hey, seems like you're super busy, like no worries, I hope you're doing well, like maybe I'll reach out in a few months. And that's where sometimes too I really appreciate people are like, no, I'm so sorry, I haven't gotten back to you, like either like let's do it in a couple months, or they book then, or they kind of let me know like, no, I'm not interested, because I've told them I'm going to keep reaching out to you until you give me an answer, and I've done it in a nice way, but please stop ignoring me. They say like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I didn't answer you. but I'm not interested. I'm like, thank you. So now I can take you off my list.
Mhm.
And then it's not like this awkward thing. But so those are my top tips. It's not like rocket science, but the following up is really, I feel like, where the trunk shows are, because very, very rarely do I reach out to someone and they say, yes, let's book a show. Or no, they just don't say anything.
So
Yeah.
should you always be asking like if they want to be a stylist, or should you be asking like certain people if they want to be a hostess, or like what should you be asking?
So I think there's like different answers to this, Charlotte. And I think like sometimes we do hear like offer it to everybody. And I think that takes like a little bit of practice to make that feel authentic. Especially like at a trunk show, sometimes I know I feel awkward about it. Like you don't want to prejudge someone, but you like we've been to that trunk show where like we know the girl has said XYZ, and am I really going to offer her the stylish job? But some people are able to pull that off really well. I think it just takes practice, like being authentic and all of that. And I do think you don't want to prejudge, because sometimes like you don't offer it to people and then you say it later and they're like, oh, you notice they're asking questions. It's like, oh, she would like to do this. What was I going to say? Charlotte, you respond to that.
Yeah, I think I really like the mantra that came from Hoopla, which is sharing it really casually, in a way that's like, hey, I have host rewards to give to you, but you should just totally do what I do. That if it's that casual, I think often the mistake that we make is kind of putting the stylist opportunity in like special corner where it's like we are like waiting for like the perfect moment and person and all of these things. But if we look at it as like basically with what you're offering to people is three things. You're offering them an opportunity to shop with you, an opportunity to be a hostess and get it all for free, or an opportunity to do this as a stylist with you and make money with you and have fun. So instead of elevating stylists to this like grandiose thing, just keep it all on the same level. And the more that we share just that really casual, in that really casual way, the more that you're going to book and sponsor and sell, because it's easier to have someone say no thank you to being a stylist and then book a show than it is to like if they say no to a show, well, like that they're definitely not going to be a stylist. So it almost even makes booking a show easier because you've just offered them something that's more of a commitment. So like doing a one night thing is like, oh sure, like I'll totally do that. That's easy. So I would recommend like what we're going to do here is I think summing up like everything we just shared, which is just amazing advice and just the technical tools to reach out to people and follow a system to follow up and keep track of it all. But the main thing about it is just to do it, right? So that's the point of this Blitz tonight, is for us to take action. And I see you on here. I've got your names written down. So one is like, kudos to you for showing up for yourself and for your business and deciding to take a little time tonight to invest in your own growth. But now the key, what I would be sad if you did tonight is if you get off of this and you just like go to bed or go do something else or just like post a picture and do nothing. So please take the time that you've already decided to take action tonight. So let's just do it and don't overthink it. And let's spend the next 30 minutes reaching out to people. So if you don't have a list yet, go to one of your most recent posts that you've put up about Stella and Dot. And that's your list. Those people who've liked it, who've commented on it. And you can share in that really easy way of, oh my goodness, thanks for the love on my post. How cute is that new top? You know, I would love to help you get it for free as one of my hostesses this fall, but you should really just do what I do. We have this crazy special going on for the next couple of days. Do you want the scoop? And then just take the conversations from there. So I'm going to put up a post on our team page. We're going to actually hop off of the Zoom, and I'll put up a post that, you know, after the next 30 minutes, the next hour, however much time that you want to take to to post and share what you did tonight and your actions and any results that you have. And it might just be, hey, I sent out 10 messages to 10 different people and I haven't heard anything back yet. Jess, you explained that perfectly, that is 100% normal, and that the fortune's in the follow-up there. So if you don't hear responses, just know that that's normal, and don't see that as like a discouragement. That's totally par for the course. Okay, so before we hop off, any last thoughts?
There's two. Yeah, I have a couple like thoughts that I did want to say. So I know Jamie and Marissa, here are some great words so that they can kind of decide. It's like wee or squee, like something, anything that like makes you excited, happy face, whatever. You know, I love jewelry, so I decided to take that passion and become a Stella and Dot stylist. I love everything they make, from the necklaces to the bags and tops. And now this is the key. It says you can shop or host and get everything you love for free, or even join me as a stylist. Let me know what sounds best for you, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, but it's literally saying like, here are the 3 ways you can support me.
Totally.
And like now they're picking, like they're going to be your customer, a hostess, or a stylist.
Can you post that under I'm going to put up a post right now, and anyone else, if you have some good words to say that you're using, let's all post those 2 right off the bat, and then we'll like loop back around and share how it went.
And then this is a key from my passive-aggressive parents that I am now passive-aggressive on how to get people to respond, especially if you're connected on social media and they've been ignoring some of your text messages. I like their photos and comment on stuff. And like nothing to do with Stella and Dot, obviously, but like, oh my gosh, your baby is so cute. And then maybe it is passive-aggressive, I don't know, but it just makes Charlotte be like, oh my gosh, Jess texted me 3 times and she's telling me my baby's cute and I haven't responded to her. Like it just kind of keeps you in their mind and then reminds them to respond to you. And because 9 times out of 10, they're not like trying to shady ignore you. So
I think that's really smart. I mean, that's just like part of building the relationship to where it's not just about selling that. All right, before we sign off, I'm going to take a screenshot really quick. So everybody smile. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Oh, good. Casey, you're there. Wait, I'm going to do it with my phone. Ready? Okay, got it. All right, let's do it.
woo, party.
Good luck, everybody. And reach out to me if you have any questions.